Hey there, I'm Kelsey Misbrener. I am the managing editor for Solar Power World magazine, and I'm taking over the Contractor's Corner podcast. Kelly has been running this podcast for a number of years. She's done, I think, 75 interviews, and she was ready to give up the reins to someone else. And I'm really excited to get to know contractors better and get to understand what their biggest pain points are, biggest excitements as far as new products coming out, new policies rolling out to help make solar adoption move more smoothly across the country. So really excited to start off a new year with this new role here. There is a lot of uncertainty going into 2022. We've got supply chain issues that are not getting any easier with the latest variant. We've got policy decisions that are in limbo right now. The biggest would be the Build Back Better Act, which includes a lot of very helpful solar provisions, but that is now kind of thrown to the unknown with Senator Joe Manchin's reluctance to support it. The Build Back Better Act could bring manufacturing of solar components stateside, and that would be from the wafers and panels down to inverters and tracking equipment. Another reason for hope this year, I'm recording this at the beginning of January, but I am getting ready to go to Long Beach next week for Intersolar, which will be my first solar conference since Intersolar 2020 that was in February before everything changed. So Billy and I will be there. We'll be reporting on all of the new products we see. We'll be tweeting and posting our roundups on our website and on LinkedIn. So keep an eye out for that. We'll also be watching the Solar Games, which is this awesome competition of solar installers that I was able to watch in 2020. And I can't wait to be there a second time. There are more teams competing, bigger prizes. So it'll be intense and should be fun. So without further ado, I hope that you enjoy my conversation with Sean, and I'm really excited to be your new Contractor's Corner host. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, everybody, and welcome to my first interview as the new host of Contractor's Corner. My guest today is Sean Bright, president of New Era Electric. And what better way to bring in a new era of Contractor's Corner than by interviewing New Era, which I did not do on purpose. So congratulations to me. So New Era is a C&I electrical subcontractor that was founded in 2020 in San Marcos, California. So welcome to the podcast, Sean.
Oh, thank you very much. I love that intro, New Era. We get a lot of joy out of that. It's actually something we thought about really hard. And not to sound too corny, 1920s were considered a new era, right? So since we established New Era in 2020, that's what we wanted to be called, and that's why we focus on the solar. I do believe that is the new era of electrical power. So,
tell me, how did you personally get into solar?
It's a funny question. So, I'm a lifelong electrician. Somehow, it's been 30 years. I don't know how that happened, but it seems like yesterday almost. But electrician all my life. Started out very young, right out of high school. Was dating a lady who's now my wife, still to this day. And her dad needed some help, and there it went. So pretty much the day after college, and started becoming an electrician. Went through the apprenticeship program. Did everything in between: apprentice, foreman, superintendent, project manager, blah blah blah. And it was interesting because I'd say about 10 years ago, I was really introduced to solar. I kind of felt solar was a gimmick, so to speak. In the electrical world, as an electrician, I think there was this sense that solar electricians weren't real. And, it was a gimmicky sort of thing. Solar wasn't going to last. Like, we were the real electricians out there doing, high-rise, buildings and so on and so forth. So it was funny because I kind of looked down on it, to be honest with you. And, about 6 years ago, one of my best friends who owns Imbarcy Construction, and they focus on carports for solar energy. We got to talking, and really discovered how lucrative the industry was, and that time was dawned on me that hey, this is here to stay, right? This is something we need. This is something that's really good for not just the environment, but the construction industry as a whole. And so about 6 years ago, I decided to move into the solar world. So we partnered up with some of the steel contractors who were doing the structures, and I brought the electrical component to it. Interesting enough, my thought that solar wasn't real is still apparent today. In the fact that it is hard to find people who think that it's a legitimate industry coming from that commercial kind of electrical world. I was able to really attract some good talent, people who specialized in the solar industry, and discovered really quick that there was a big need for this. We knew what we were doing, and it's just blossomed ever since then. I mean, in our small amount of time, grown just immensely. So that's a little bit how I got into this, and I'm here to stay now. So, and I believe solar is too.
Yeah. So you highlighted a very current issue with union electricians versus the solar industry, which that's all playing out with the California State Licensing Board right now.
Right.
And they're asking the solar industry to work together with union electricians and figure out what works for them as far as storage licensing goes. So you're kind of in the middle of both worlds.
Yeah, we are. But what I like about the model that we have is we're commercial. We're not going after the giant utility scene out there. So what really works for us is, and our partners that really like us, is we really focus on those. I don't want to call them small projects, but in the solar world, I think they're considered a little bit small. They're 10 megawatts and under. They're more commercial style rooftops, smaller, the smaller version ground mounts and the carports. So lots of schools that fit that category. But the need is there, right? There's all these little smaller projects that are out there that really make a big difference. And there's not a lot of people, and there are not electrical contractors out there that are really focusing on that. So I think that's where we fit in to where the CNI EPCs out there that really like what we bring to them and give to them.
Absolutely. So what has been the most rewarding moment of your solar career so far?
I'm very proud to be an electrician and the skill set that I had to get taught. And I think a lot of people out there don't realize how much how much of a skilled industry the electrical is, right? And the knowledge you need to have, the math behind it, and theory. So I'm really proud of just, to this day, continuing to call myself an electrician. But, as corny as that may sound too, is I really like now that I feel like I just make a difference. Every project we do now, it just really feels like I'm helping, the earth, right? And so that's really rewarding to me. Last year, in our first half a year, we did 14 megawatts of work, which was impressive for us, as we were just getting started. This year, we're going to do closer to 30. So just knowing that what we're doing now really matters. And I'm sold on how we need this. We need these renewable projects. We need this green energy for the future because, it's just, I think it's going to really help that environment. And I like to be a part of it. And so I got to say, that's one of the most rewarding things about this and me switching to solar.
So you talked a little bit about how New Era is fitting into this niche of smaller commercial projects. How else is your company standing out from the other competitors in the market?
We're a Southern California electrical contractor. Southern California electrical contractors, it's a very tight market. Southern California may seem big, but it's really not in the grand scheme of things. And there's a lot of contractors out there. And, I used to work for, the larger companies. And again, what stands out for New Era is, there is just not an electrical contractor who's focusing on these solar projects. Now, I was a little naive coming into this as well, that I thought solar was super easy. I thought solar was, no brainer. It's just these like really, easy projects to do. But they're very advanced, right? And we've got some really good people in our pre-construction department who, without them, we'd be nowhere. I mean, there's a lot of pre-design that has to go in, and everybody, it seems these days, that is in the energy efficiency, contractor situation, they're just seems like they're getting solar jobs handed to them just because they're in the realm of that industry, right? And so I don't want to say that they're inexperienced, but they may be, right? And so I think that's, again, where we help, right? We take, their opportunities and we say, hey, listen, we're going to partner with us. We're going to give you the experience. We're going to give you the manpower. We're going to build that job for you, right? And you can trust us. We've been doing this, again, New Era has only been in business for 2 years, but, my 6-year involvement, my pre-construction department has over 50 years involvement, combined, and so on and so forth. And we have 55 field employees right now who really have been specializing in solar for the last, 10 plus years. So that's really what makes us stand out.
Going back to when you built your team, how was it hiring skilled workers in this industry for you?
It was funny. The workers that I got almost put us out of business, to be honest with you, because let me explain that right away. Mm-hmm. So when I started this under a different name 5 years ago, it was me and 2 people. And we were not necessarily focused on solar because my background was solar, but we had the opportunity to go solar. There was a company, and they'll remain nameless, that went out of business right at the same time we started. And again, I had 2 employees, and they had about 25. So me and my partner, we decided we were going to hire every single one of those people. And we had one job. Mm-hmm. And that one job was, I think it was 500 kilowatts or something like that. It was a small project. And so we literally put 25 people on one job because we had nothing else for them while we were building up our backlog. And it was tough. Right? It was a big expense, but we saw an opportunity there that we just felt we couldn't pass up. And we just truly believed that opportunity was going to come and we were going to get these guys to work. And we paid these guys every day when we were working or not. It was a big expense for us. And like I said, it almost put us out of business because that lag between hustling to get contracts and get those jobs going. And in the solar world, these jobs don't start very quickly. There's a lot of loopholes that have to get through. So we'll hear about a job and, it'll be 4 months later. And in my background, that wasn't like that. We would hear about a job and they want you there the next day. Right. And it was like, that's how fast, the commercial electrical world was when you're doing high rises or restaurants or something like that. So that's how we just, boom, we blossomed into a 25 person company overnight. And I got to say, out of those 25 guys, I probably still have 23 of them. A very, very small, loss of the manpower that we had on us. And I think we've made it a pretty great working environment for them. So they seem to be hanging around, and now the work is abundant, and they've seen that, and it's very rewarding to them. So,
wow! So that was a big gamble you took from the jump.
It was a big gamble, right? And but it was the only way that I thought we were going to succeed. And like I said, going back to that, it was very tough to find people. And again, I would call acquaintances from years past, people that I work with, people that I knew that were amazing electricians, and they kind of scoffed at it because it was solar. I gotta be honest with you, there's a sense out there that, hey, I don't know about that, right? And And I really think that some of the electricians don't think it's real, don't think it's a tangible, construction industry. And I try to tell them all the time, I say, guys, this is pipe and wire. It's pipe and wire. It's what you do, right? And it's the future. Like, so get into it now while you can, specialize it, right? So, but so getting that opportunity, we just felt we needed to. You're right, we gambled on it. First year, financially wise, it was hurting. But then after that, years to come after that, it was definitely something that we're very happy we did.
That's great. So what has been the most unique project your company has completed so far?
So in the solar world, in the renewable world, we've had opportunities over the last years with Tesla doing a lot of their superchargers. That's been interesting to see. Just the evolution of battery cars and everything is nice. One of the more unique things that was really flattering to us about a couple months ago, was we got reached out by one of our partner clients that Amazon had requested to use our services as a third party post PTO to basically verify the commissioning, and basically we went to a job to make sure it was good. And so we're contracted 3 states, about 10 Amazon projects that we're going to go through and do post-commissioning reviews and make sure the jobs are right. So that was really good to hear, right? They selected us to come back and do this commissioning. It was pretty rewarding. I don't know if you call that unique or not. What else did we do? So we do a ton of school projects. Prisons, we're getting a lot of opportunity for prisons too, which have their own uniqueness. When they're pretty intimidating when you go to these sites, because you are pretty in close proximity to the actual prisons, and there's a very strict uniform like we have to wear, so we don't blend in to what the prisoners are wearing. So that's interesting when you go there, and they give you special vests and all that stuff. So we also, one of the more unique things that we did about a year and a half ago, one of our first jobs, is we ended up closing down an entire block of downtown San Diego for a Holiday Inn hotel project we did, because we tried to do all the craning for the hotel in one day. So that was pretty interesting to see, how angry we made all the residents of downtown San Diego when we closed their streets down. So it's never a good time to close down streets, but a couple of more unique things we do.
Okay. So what would be something that's preventing you from installing more projects?
Labor is huge, and we just don't see. So there's a couple issues that we have, right? So I talked about, the legitimacy of solar and how maybe electricians from days past don't really see it as a legitimate electrical job, or so to speak. There's also a bigger problem, and that is the labor force is just not being regenerated. We've got the old timers like me, right? They're getting ready to retire. I wish I was, but we have the guys getting ready to retire and leaving the industry. But we're not regenerating that on a 1-to-1 ratio. I would be shocked if it was an eighth of that ratio. Mm. I don't know what it is. There's just not a lot of people who want to join the construction trades, and it's really shocking. I really see this as an epidemic of sorts. I just feel that in 20 years, electricians are going to be few and far, to find here. And who's going to do these projects? We're going to be offering electricians astronomical wages in the next 10 years because of the lack of people out there, skilled people. And if I were to go out and I kind of want to. I want to join our apprenticeship programs. I want to go and speak to kids. I want to go to high schools and say, guys, get it. Like back in the day, parents, they push college. College is amazing. But you have to have an idea, too, of what you want to do, right? College just for college might not make sense for some people, right? I'll give you a job. You're going to start at $18 an hour. I'm going to pay for your school, right? If you join my apprenticeship, I'm going to pay out of my pocket for your schooling. You're not, one dime's going to come out of your pocket. You're going to have full benefits. You're going to start off at $18 an hour. By the way, at the end of that apprenticeship program, you're going to be making $45 an hour, right? Paid the entire time. It's all the school commitment is 2 weeks, twice a year, that you leave work for 2 weeks, take off, and you go to school for 2 weeks, right? At the end of 4 years, four to 5 years, depending on how fast you get it done, I'm going to guarantee you about $80,000 to $90,000 with not 1 ounce of school debt. And I can't get people to sign. It's a problem, right? So all the trades are good, don't get me wrong. The reason I went in I went into electrical because my father-in-law made me.
It was available to you, yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, I said, wow, this is more than just this. I'm studying, I'm using skills. I'm terrible at that. I'm doing theory now to try to figure out voltage drops in wire sizes. And I'm like, hey, I'm actually smart, right? So it was one of those extremely rewarding things that it's kind of like the Karate Kid moment. I was just doing it, right? I was just doing it. And 10 years later, I go, wow, that is our biggest thing for me being an electrical contractor. And I think it's going to get progressively worse because we just don't see it. And I think more and more people just need to have a voice about this, explain to the younger generation that this isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing if you don't go to college. Unfortunately, I think there is still that societal kind of look down on maybe construction guys. If you're a chartered electrician in 10 or 15 years, you're naming your price. You're naming your price to work, and that's what I see. And then maybe that's going to be the sign that people start switching. But to hopefully help with the industry, hopefully we can attract more of this young generation into helping. So
I've noticed a couple of like high school tech programs that are focusing on solar now. So seeing that does give me hope, but it's still pretty isolated. Was actually
a part of that. That was really I like that. And then it's actually it's a good thing. Maybe you identify that even early. Hey, are you a handsy person? Are you less of a book person? I was not a book person, man. I didn't want to listen to school. I just wasn't that person. But there wasn't that back then, right? And so, that would have been something great for more of a hands-on learning experience where you go and get taught a trade. You go and start to realize, wait a minute, this isn't, a low-life construction worker, and I hate to even use that, as maybe some people might feel right out there that they get pigeonholed into thinking that about themselves. So, my electricians have really good lives, and they're very happy. So I want more and more people to understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And then I guess my last question, what are some future product trends you're looking forward to in the solar industry?
So battery storage is something I'm looking forward to. The more economical these projects start to get, the more economical the batteries seem, and the higher the electrical rates go, and the time of usage sort of starts hitting. But we're already seeing the batteries starting to blossom out there more and more. When we first started, we would suggest to clients, hey, what about battery storage? It'll help with this and that. And it was just, no. It's just not penciling out. We have a certain per kilowatt price we got to meet, and that's not going to happen. So they weren't thinking about it. So now it's like, hey, now we're getting requests from, okay, now we're seeing prices are coming down. We need to. It makes more sense to use these batteries at 8 o'clock at night as opposed, to just running your solar all day and so on and so forth. So I'm looking forward to get into that. Going back to the like some of our work with Tesla. What I really like for New Era and for our next 10 plus years is we're seeing a lot of the car chargers, not just Tesla. We see in all different brands and stuff. But there's an initiative out there right now that all cars, or I'm sorry, 50% of the cars should be battery by 2030. Okay, I don't know how realistic that is, but that is something that's out there in the universe. If that were to happen, that would mean that next to every gas station would have to be a car charging station, right? That's a lot of car charging stations. For the last 20 plus years, everyone's been working to relieve our grid, in the infrastructure because it's getting overloaded. if this does happen, our grid is going to now be overloaded, right? 10 years from now, I think companies like New Era, focusing on solar, will be more abundant.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The electrification of everything is coming.
Yeah. Oh
but
yeah.
The grid
absolutely.
is not ready for it yet.
No, that's absolutely not, right? So it's, job security, is what we're hoping for, right? But yeah, you can definitely see the trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Sean. This was a great first interview for me in Contractor's Corner. It was fun.
Okay. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.